Welcome to Flory Models, I'm Philip Flory, kit review time. Today we've got Meng's 1/35th scale, brilliant. This is the Bradley, this is the M3A3 with a Busk 3 system on it, i.e. lots of aerials and things like that. Looks to be a fantastic kit. Meng recently have been knocking them out of the ballpark completely with their kits. They have been absolutely stunning. So, as you can see, beautiful box art. This particular kit does come in two flavours. They do another one which has got the full interior. This is just the external one for it, as you can see. So, beautiful work, as you can see on that. We've got some nice box art showing some of the nice weathering done on the artwork as well. And we've got the kit. So the kit number for this one is SS006. Okay, I don't know which version it is. It's a Tyrannosaurus version or something. A little bit obviously about the Bradley, some kit info, the usual things about it. 2014, we know this is a very, very modern kit. So, this is having a look in the box. As with all the Meng kits, as you can see, pretty stuff full of goodies down in here, as you can see. Okay, first of all, we're just going to whip out the instructions and have a bit of a look through those. Okay, so, nice books for these. I think it's a Stegosaurus set by the looks of it. They've all got funny names. Okay, so the usual thing, as you can see, we've got the normal blurb about the actual tank itself in the different languages, as you can imagine. In fact, in everyone's language these days, and right the way through. Usual things about tools, and we're straight into it. So, as you can imagine, lots of wheels on this. Looks like we've got the separate tyre onto the hub, which seems an odd way of doing it, but hey ho. We'll have a look at those parts in a moment and everything else. Looks like we've got the suspension system is all going to be on this one as well, which is very nice to see. It makes them, you know, posable, very, very posable. Putting the suspension system in. And then obviously we're going on with the drives, being putting those in, and those little wheels on the top, the runner wheels. Okay, usual thing, road wheels going on. You're probably not going to do it in this way, but hey ho. And then you've got modifying the periscopes for the passenger compartments. Okay, so it looks like you can cut them off. So it looks like we've got different versions, different kits down here. Some of the stowage items going on there, you can say you probably put them on later. Some more of the panel work going on this one for the outside to really bring it to life. Okay, opening up a few holes, finishing off the actual hull of the tank completely, working on the driver's hatch, it looks like, and putting in the periscopes, the various things and everything. Enhanced vision sensor going on there as well. Pretty nice, as you can see, all this one. A little bit of photo etch. I'm hoping it's going to be a photo etch grill going on there just to really bring it to life. Okay, some more armoured work. As I said, it's a little bit different. They do it one with an interior as well. This one isn't. Okay, so normally you'd have a full interior on the other version if you want to pay a little bit extra. And then going through, so you're adding all the different lumps and bumps going down there, as you can imagine. We've got, looks like a mortar hatch on this one, technically. And then putting down the hatches onto that one as it goes right the way through. The rear door, okay, adding the tracks, and it looks like the tracks is a click link system, 80 on each side. We'll have a look at that one. That looks to be a nice system. Okay, mud guards or your fenders going on there, stowage boxes on for the rear. And then we're adding the armour. Okay, so it's the armour module system going to be fitted in and going all on those. Okay, so I presume you can probably have it with or without. Okay, and there those, more of that going on there. Additional armour trays going on there. The front one, so this is that reactive armour that they have on them. Okay, and then up onto the top gun itself, fitting the coax and in. So we've got some nice bits, details going in there for the actual coax gun. And then onto the actual main parts going down on there, more hatches. As I say, you're probably going to have this one buttoned up because it doesn't have an interior, but that's not going to be a problem for what we've got in mind for this one. Lots of detail around, as you see, you've got all this armour modules going on to the side, lots of plating, various things like that to really bring this one to life. Okay, you've got the thermal sight being put together, again, some very nice details on this one, and then really bringing it all together, putting that big thermal sight onto the side of it. You've got the gunner's sight, you've got the commander's little periscopes going on there as well. Okay, the tow missile launcher boxes onto the side. Okay, and then we've got the rear basket system going on and the aerials. And then the cannon on the front. Tow system goes on, adding that rear stowage area, and then onto the tank. And there we go, that is it. Very nice. Some great things in there. So, usual thing, yes, we do get the photo etch, which is quite nice. We've got the little brilliant ideas putting these in. These are actually then precision cut pieces for spraying wheels. So you can do them all black and then just do the hubs afterwards. They are a great idea going through. And then obviously you've got your call out with 6th Squadron, 9th Cavalry, 9th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division, 4th 2014. So it is real bang up to date, this one. Okay, and your colour call outs on the back. Wow. Okay, so making our way through the parts. If we start over here, start cutting bags and getting in. Okay, if we just drop this camera a little bit closer. Alright, and we've got the close-ups on the sides. So, looking at it, Meng recently, as I said, have been really knocking them out of the park. They've had some beautiful detail. Okay, so looking at it, as you can see again, great detail. Everything is pin sharp, very crisply moulded. All of this, you know, side skirt system down on here is absolutely beautifully done. The bolts look like bolts. They're nice, they're sharp, they're detailed. Okay, the stowage items, again, some very nice moulding on that. Got a little bit of flash, not on the parts, but it's on all the sprue gates and the sprue trees and everything else like that. They've cleaned up underneath here, but you're probably going to have to re-clean it. They're a little bit shabby. And again, it just seems to be this half injection pin areas. Quite weird with all of them. But as I said, a little bit of clean up, but generally very, very nice. Okay, we've got this reactive modular armour, i.e. you can replace the bits you need. Okay, so we've got the rear door looking very, very nice down there. Some nice bolting details and everything else. We've got a nice anti-slip texture on the back of these as well, which is a very nice touch, and on the backs of the doors and everything, so when it's down or just using it normally. Okay, and then obviously this modular armour, some great detail, all the pins very sharp, they'll take a wash absolutely beautifully. Okay, and going down in all of those, so that's nice. Okay, road wheels, drive sprockets, suspension. I'm going to cut that a bit wrong. Let's try again. There we go. We're only going to need one of these. I'll get one out. Okay, so usual poly caps and things. The road wheels. So they are 2-piece road wheels. Okay, which looks like they slip over, unless I'm reading it wrong, the actual areas themselves, which is a little bit different. But you have got the actual ring on there as well. So I think it may be a bit of a false economy on that one. And everything else, but generally, as you can see, we've got the sprockets, the drives, very nicely done, very sharp, very crisp. These little wheels floating on the top, and generally all pretty good and nice. Okay, very sharp details running all the way around there. Like I said, no sign of flash or anything on the parts themselves. They're all very nicely crisply moulded. Okay, so another bag. As I said, plenty in these kits. So this particular sprue down here, we've got various items. The smaller parts, so we've got cleats, hand grabs, things like that. We've got cable, which is actually very nicely done. Actually, it's very nicely moulded. That it's all got this very nice anti-slip texture to where it's required everywhere on this one, like the driver's hatch, as you can see it just down here. It's very nicely done, very good. Yeah, again, all this bolting system from where the actual drive system goes in, nicely done. But the anti-slip looks pretty good on all of this. Generally can't pick a fault with any of it. All looks to be very, very nice, all of it. Okay, so down here we've got the rear bulkhead. Okay, which is then going to be covered up by this guy, one would assume, or something. Oh no, that's the front plate. Again, anti-slip texture all over it, all the bolts very sharp, very nicely done, all of that. Running down the grille, this louver venting system is separate, so as you can see, you can actually bend it, move it as you go through, which is unusual. Normally they're sort of moulded with a back plate, that isn't, so that's beautifully done. Some very nice work on that one. The fenders themselves have that nice rubbery type of look to them. And then the front ones not so much. Okay, and going through stowage racks, again sharp. Everything, when you feel Meng kits, it feels quite sharp to the touch, which is nice because it means it's crisply moulded and not just softly dragged out of the mould too soon, if you like. Okay, so upper turret, some nice detail on this upper turret, as you can see. beautifully done. Anti-slip, not so much on this one because you've got parts. You have got little bits on the sides and things like that, but it's quite modular. You've got the parts, you've got the under part down here. That explains all of these different subsections like these bolting onto it. But generally, as you can see, all the parts are very nicely done, very nice, very crisp. All the ejector pin marks are completely out of the way. Nothing is anywhere where it's going to get in the way or even you're going to have to clean up. And the ones which are around are very flat. They are literally on a plane with the item itself. It's not like they're pushed in or pulled out or anything else like that. Generally really nice. Very nice, all of that. Okay, so we've got the tow missile launchers, looks like in here, the collar. For the ring, the hatches, the various things. Again, anti-slip now on all these parts because obviously where they external, but as you say, all the bolts, lumps and bumps. Tow missiles, which are obviously go inside the launchers, normally you wouldn't see them. They've actually looks like you've got full length tubes with those, which are quite nice. Generally really good. You even got texture on the underside of the collar here, which is quite a nice touch. But some of the smaller parts now we're getting in. A little bit of flash just on these tiny bits just down here. Nothing I think you would actually go overboard over. But the trouble is, when your kits get this good, you tend to start being picky and you're finding faults that normally you wouldn't worry about. Maybe a little bit of cleanup on some of these ejector pins just to flush them off and make them nice and flat. But generally all very good. Amazing amount of plastic in these. I know people say about the cost of Meng kits are a little bit more expensive than perhaps their cheaper rivals like Trumpeter, shall we say, and things like that. But the quality it's better. You know, somebody to me the other day did say about Meng kits, you can get Trumpeters cheaper. But the quality is definitely here with the Meng ones. They're really nice. And the parts breakdown tend to be a little bit better. So we've got the main gun part there, very nicely done. Again, this bolting, this stowage rack with the holes in it all the way through, very clean and crisp, no problem at all. Some of these smaller items have got a little bit of flash on them, but as you say, a couple of swipes will take care of that. In fact, that's probably the first bit of flash I've seen on items, and in fact it's not on the part, it's just on the ejector pin off of this guy. I'm being so picky, it's not actually on the part, it's on the pin, so I can't even say it's got flash on this kit. Really very nice indeed, very sharp, very crisp. Okay, so we've got a dual part here. This is going to be the upgrade for the aerials, and that is a twin sprue. So we got these digital management aerials on these. This is all the smaller parts, all the little bits and pieces you can imagine all over this one. All of them very crisp. I can't see any problem with any of these whatsoever. They are very nicely done, right the way down to the lights. Very clean. Just literally little things like this cleat is amazingly detailed. The bolt has got a hex on it and all the rest of it, and it's tiny, absolutely tiny. It's really nice and very nice details. Very good. Okay, last one of these ones when we move into the hull. We've got another one for the hull in a moment, so don't panic. Okay, so down in here again, anti-slip texture, very nicely done. Got this rear roof system, looks like a mortar hatch down on here. This reactive armor you can see on the front, again, it's got great texture, really nice. We were talking about anti-slip on the live show last week and saying about, you know, different ways of doing it in aquarium, silica and things like that to give the best effect over these pastes you can buy and things like that. This has got a great one. It's actually quite sharp to touch, to run your finger over it, so it is very nice. Again, all of these handles, things like that, really nice. All of these hatches and things and louver doors, all pretty good. And then you've got this rear stowage boxes at the back, again very nicely done. All of this racking and everything else, all pretty good stuff. Okay, in the hull, so we've got a bag for the hull. Let's just cut into here and get into it. Ooh. Okay, so it's a one-piece lower hull with the top, and we've got a couple of rubbery bits in here, which is what we're saying, always check your bags. We'll look at that in a moment. So this is the upper hull. As you can imagine, there's not much detail on here because it's all quite modular. You've got all the parts are going to bolt onto this one and the front end, so there's nothing really to look at on this one. So it's a nice louvering on the front, generally very nicely done. There's no cleanup required anywhere. It is what it is. It's pretty standard, no problem at all. Meng 2015 on the inside. Okay, these are these periscopes. Obviously this version we're doing doesn't have them, okay, for the passengers, so they'll be coming off. Now those we're going to look at in a moment, and that thing we'll look at in a moment. Down here, this is for the suspension system coming through. Okay, so as you can see, you've got the suspension system running down, some details in here, but you're not going to take any notice of them because you're not going to see them, all right? Again, it's pretty crude underneath here, got a couple of pins you're going to have to get rid of and everything else. Not much happening, okay? It's nice, it's sharp, it's crisp. It is what it is really, it's just a lower hole. So in here we have some steel tubes, which I assume is for the suspension system, which is quite nice. We've also got this guy here, which I presume is something to do with the mantle, maybe of the gun or something else like that, but it is in rubber. That's the thing with this one, it's actually a rubber piece. So I want to look at that one. And then this here, I assume, I saw it on the instructions, this is the gun feed for the coax gun. Again, it's in rubber, so it's maneuverable and everything else like that. So we want to keep that somewhat safe, those parts. Okay, so we've also got some clear, we're not going to bother with those because they always are clear on these things. Okay, it's just some flat plates. We've got photo etch, a couple of sheets of steel photo etch. It's quite thick, it's quite chunky. I feel it actually feels very heavy. It's not like a piece of Edard photo etch. Okay, but on this it doesn't matter. This is that ring we were talking about, so obviously for masking up, it's technically a mask this, some little bits down there. We've got that grill we were talking about and some other little parts in photo etch as well. Very nicely done. So they're nice little touches, those. We've got the decals, if we just fold that like that. So as you can see, not much to it, but you can imagine a couple of little ones on there. Some warning ones, various things as they would have. Okay, and last up we have the tracks, which we'll have a look at just to see if they do work, because I did see this when the box arrived and I was like, oh Jesus, it's going to be a nightmare to go together. So just as we did with the last kit, we're just going to have a quick fiddle and see if we can put a few of these together just to see how they go. They're a little bit fiddly to get apart by the looks of it, so you have to be able to stick a blade in amongst them, because there's no way even I could get my scissors in here to tidy them up. So if we just do 4, okay, we just hit these off very crudely off the back. This is our latest thing now, tracks. Okay, and let's have a go on it. Now allegedly, according to those instructions, these are just a push fit and are going to hold together. So let's have a go and we'll see what happens. So bearing in mind I haven't done any cleanup to these, they are literally a hook and loop, the outside pins, and blow me, they work. Actually, it's quite what it is. On here, we just drop this top cam down nice and close so you can get an idea. So actually what you've got is down here on the outer edge, they've got tiny little holes, and on this outer part here, you've got tiny little feet which are going to push in. See, the first one went in a doddle, this one not so. Well, I'll tell you why. I think it's because we've got a big, this is what you're going to have to do though, is clean up these inner between bits, otherwise it's not going to have the clearance it needs to get in there. Put the bottom half in first and then we click the top one over. That works well. Bottom half in, top one over, and there we go. That has working tracks. Okay, so as you can see, it's a working track unit. They bend, they roll, and they hold their own weight, and they stay together a lot better than those other ones did. Admittedly, you need to go in between. We just try and get it apart. Actually, it doesn't come apart. There we go, click them off. You need to make sure you clean up that edge and the gap in between, because if you don't, it tries to push itself apart. Okay, so you are going to have to do a little bit of cleanup with these, just like that. Okay, so when you come in, it should click in a lot. There you go. As soon as you clean them up, they go a lot more floppy, okay, and a lot looser, as you can probably see here. But generally pretty good. Better than we did on the T90. Those ones are a right headache to do. Those are quite good. Nice click fit, no problem at all. So putting those together should be pretty easy, and obviously you could seal them in with PVA glue and everything else like that. So there we go. That's the Bradley from Meng. As I say, they do another flavour of this one which has the 4 internal ones. I'm probably going to build this one, so I just wanted to do it as an external one, maybe on a little diorama, something else like that. So that's why I went with the external one rather than the internal. Beautiful kit.